Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to join the Zoom. And then I'm also grateful for those of you who will be watching the recording later. Okay. Um, Not a lot of people turn on the camera today, so but that's okay. Um, Today we have a very special topic. I'm going to be sharing the concept of the state of emptiness of being. Today, we're going to talk about level 3, wisdom and awareness. As you may or may not know, in the past numbers of weeks, we have been sharing the knowledge of the philosophy of root education. We have gone through different levels of awareness and different levels of wisdom. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about awareness and wisdom level 3. So if you have your, if it is safe and convenient for you to draw or write with me, I invite you to write the following down with me. Okay, we're going to start out as follows. We're going to write. Let's see. Okay, just going to write number 3, and I'm going to write the word state of emptiness of being. Okay. Level 3 of wisdom. If you remember, wisdom is simply understood as a state of awareness of a person. And with the wisdom level 3, we begin with the state of emptiness of being. Okay. Emptiness of being. So what is emptiness of being? Okay. You guys can ask yourself, and if you have a chance, you can either answer in the chat, or you can just turn on a microphone and answer. So what, according to you, is the emptiness of being? Okay. Hello, Katie. Hello, chị Nguyễn Thị Minh Hồng. Thank you so much for joining our Zoom. I am grateful for your presence, and I'm honored by your participation. Is it convenient to turn on the microphone and say hello? Ủa chị Chi phải không? Lâu ngày. Let me...
Hello, hi.
Hello chị Chi.
Dạ,
How
chào
are you?
thầy, chào cả nhà. Dạ, Hồng không có tiện mở cam á thầy. Dạ,
Okay. Chị Minh Hồng, we met in Vietnam, right?
dạ, I'm in Việt Nam now.
Là cô giáo phải không? You a teacher?
No, I'm working in office, just
Okay.
office staff.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, you don't have to turn on the camera, but it's a good idea to turn on the microphone if you are able to interact. Okay. So the topic for today is the emptiness of being. Okay. We are talking about level 3 wisdom and awareness. If you remember, the definition of wisdom is simply understood as a state of awareness of a person. Okay. In the past number of weeks, we have gone through level 1, level 2, wisdom and awareness. And today, we're going to jump in to talk about wisdom and awareness, level 3. And I'm beginning with the awareness of the state of emptiness of being. So my question to you guys is, what do you know, or what do you think about emptiness of being? What does it mean to you? You don't have to turn on your camera, but it's a good idea to interact if you can. What is emptiness of being? Okay. No? Okay. So let's draw some pictures. Okay. For those of you who can draw, I invite you to draw. Okay, draw with me. Okay, so deep in the core of our being, as a human being, deep in the core of our being, we have the will to hear, we have the will to see, we have the will to talk, and the will to know. Okay? Okay, we call that the core being. We call it all being. Okay, this layer is simply called our being. Some people can call it our spirit. Okay, it is something that does not change over space and time. It is also known as the truth within us. The truth within us is the will to hear, the will to see, the will to talk, and the will to know. It can also be said it is our true nature. Okay, as human being, we have the true nature, which includes the will to hear, the will to see, the will to talk, and the will to know. And we will refer to that as the true nature, our true self. We will refer to that as our being, okay, or our core being. Next is another layer, okay? This is the layer of our mind, okay? And outside of that is a layer of our emotion. Okay? So I'm going to draw this little tunnel here. So whenever we as human beings encounter a message from the external world, okay, a message from the external world, we have already agreed a convention of usage of language. If we encounter the message with our emotion, we say that we respond. Okay. If we encounter the message with our mind, so this is our emotion. If we encounter the message with the layer of our mind, then we say that we analyze and differentiate. Okay. And if the being encounters the message, we simply receive. Okay. So the question is, upon encountering the message from external world, which of these layers of our inner being encounter first? Which of the layers activate first? Do we respond with emotion? Do we analyze and differentiate with our mind? Or do we simply receive with our being and our spirit first? What do you guys think? Gigi, I know you're driving, but you can still talk. Min Hong, you can talk. Go ahead and unmute and just throw it out there. What do you guys think? Which layer of our inner being encounter the message first? Is it our emotion that respond first? Is it our mind that analyze and differentiate first? Or does our core being receive first?
This is our mind.
Our mind, you think our mind encounter the message first? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes it seems like that, huh? For other people, upon encountering any message, especially if the message is strongly negative or strongly positive, they may immediately respond with emotion. But fortunately for us, it is a fact that as a human being, we always receive the message with our core being first. Okay? We always receive with the will to hear, the will to see, before we analyze and before we respond with the emotion. Okay, let's take a moment and take a look. If I was to hold up this, then the first thing that happened when I hold this up is you see it first. Right? Is it not the will to see activate first? Or if I'm saying something, it is not the will to hear that activate first. So we are always hearing or seeing first. Okay. However, immediately after seeing and hearing, hello, Ron, thanks for joining us. So immediately after hearing or seeing, then we would start to analyze and differentiate. We would start to name it. Oh, this is a pen or a marker. That is the mind taking over. And for some of us, the emotion would start to jump in. We may like it or not like it. Okay, do you guys get that? It is always the case that our core being or our spirit receive the external message first. The will to hear, the will to see is the already always hearing, the already always seeing. And therefore, it is always the first layer of our inner being that encounter the message. Right? Ron, did you get this? Do you remember this part? Right? Which layer of our inner being encounter the external message first, right? Is it always our core being or our mind or our emotion? Okay. Yet, why is it that sometimes we hear something and immediately we respond with an emotion? Or sometimes we see a message and we immediately jump into analyzing good, bad, true, or false. Why is it like that? What do you think? Why do you guys think? If it is always the case that the will to hear and the will to see is already always hearing and it already is always seeing, and that true self, that being, that spirit, that deepest part of us always encounter the message first, yet why does it feel like we are always reacting with our emotion or responding with our emotion and thinking with our mind with respect to the message?
This is a natural human response. If you hear a negative message, you're going to get angry or whatever. If you hear a positive message, you'll be happy.
Well, that's why it's called human nature. Okay. The mind and emotion is part of what we call the human nature, whereas the core being or our spirit is called our true nature. However, it is not so much that it is our nature that we think and we respond with the emotion. It is, in fact, the case that the gap between the initial reception and then the analyzing and differentiate is so short and small that we don't perceive it as there is a gap. Okay, there is a space or a time gap or a delay between the true hearing and seeing and the analyzing and differentiating. First, we receive it truly, then we will analyze and differentiate. But because the gap is so small, a nanosecond, okay, an instantaneously small gap, that we perceive it as if the mind jumps in and the emotion responds much more quickly. But that is because we have not been made aware of the existence of this true nature within us. We were not aware that there is such a thing as the will to hear, the will to see, the will to talk, and the will to know, which already always there. It is called the truth within us because the truth is defined as something that does not change over space and time. Our mind changes, our emotion changes. This house changed, our body changed, our relationship, everything else seemed to change. But there is a part that deep within us that does not change over space and time. The will to hear, the will to see does not change. It is always already there. And because it is always already there, it is the first part of our inner being that will encounter the message. Okay? After, first, there is the will to hear and the will to see. That part of us is always there. Therefore, it encounters message first. And then we will start to analyze and differentiate. First, it is the true seeing, and then we start to see something. First, it is just the hearing and the seeing. And then after that, hearing what and seeing what will jump in. Hearing something and seeing something is part of the mind. Okay, hearing something and seeing something is part of the mind. But before that, the will to hear and the will to see is first. Do you guys get that? Okay. We mistake the order of our perception. Okay, we simply mistake the order of our perception because we have not been made aware of this truth within us. But now that we are made aware, now that we know that there is the already always hearing and seeing, there is the being part of us that is already there, and that being part receive the external message first. Okay, and so after we receive something, after we receive the message, and if there is a space between the receiving and the analyzing and differentiating, if there is a space that is long enough, then we will perceive that space as emptiness. When we first hear and see, there's no content yet. It is just the will to hear and the will to see. There's no content. The mind is not thinking yet. The emotion is not feeling yet. The initial hearing and seeing is just the initial reception of the message. Okay? But the question is, when does emptiness of being arises? When does emptiness of being arise? Okay? In other words, when does the state of emptiness of being arise? So the answer is the state of emptiness of being arises when the will to hear and the will to see has received the message, but the mind has not started to analyze and differentiate. There is that gap. There's that gap between the initial reception and the activation of the mind stuff. Because there's no content, it is empty. Okay? Upon encountering the message, our being receives it. But if we allow for a delay before the mind and the emotion jumps in, then there arises a gap, a space of no thinking, no feeling, a space of no mind, no emotion. It is a space of emptiness. Okay? It is the space called the emptiness of being. And the benefit of having that state of emptiness of being is that after the emptiness ends, we experience serenity, tranquility, inner peace. Okay? After the emptiness of being ends, we experience serenity, tranquility, inner peace. Hello, Victoria. Long time no see. Very honored to have you in the Zoom today.
Hello, Rainbow.
Okay.
I arrange a little bit my work and I come back to inner world, especially English inner world. So
Okay.
nice to meet you, and highly appreciate and so grateful that you continually share inner words by English every single Thứ năm là gì em quên rồi.
Hả?
Every single
Mỗi tuần hả?
yeah, every single
Week, yeah.
yeah. So thank you so much for your
Next
extras.
week, the time is going to change for Vietnam, okay? Next week, the time is going to be 9 a.m. Vietnam instead of 8 a.m. In the
Okay.
United States, West Coast, we will remain the same at 6 p.m. over here. Ron, we're going to be the same. But for those of you, Gigi will be the same in United States. But for those of you who are in Vietnam, because there is a time change, Vietnam's time will start at 9 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. Okay, so just keep track of that. But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
okay, let's
So much.
move on with the state of emptiness of being. Okay, so we were talking about the fact that as a human being, we always have this true self, our true nature, which is the will to hear, the will to see. In other words, our being. That being always receive a message first. And if we allow the reception, the period of reception before the mind jumps into analyze and differentiate, if we allow a gap, a time gap, a space between the reception and the analyzing and differentiating, then we will experience a space called emptiness of being. And the benefit of experiencing or becoming aware of that emptiness of being is that after the emptiness ends, we will feel emotionally, it is a feeling, we will feel serenity, tranquility, inner peace. Okay, that is the benefit of the state of being that is called emptiness of being. Now, there is a way, there is a tool for us to help us extend that period of emptiness. And the sages have given us this wonderful analogy. This is the way we visualize it. Okay, imagine there is a shore, the shore of serenity and tranquility. Okay, this is a shore of serenity and tranquility. Okay, the shore of serenity and tranquility. And we are over here. Okay, we are on this side of the river. Imagine this is a river. On the other side of the river, it's called the shore of serenity and tranquility. And we are over here. Okay, we're over here. And in order to get to the shore of serenity and tranquility, to the other side, we borrow a raft. Okay, this is a raft. And this raft has a name. It is the raft of hearing and seeing. We hop onto this raft of hearing and seeing, and as we float along the river across the shore, the floating time, the time gap while we are on this raft is called emptiness of being. And when we get to the other shore, we will experience serenity, tranquility, inner peace. Okay, so this is called the raft of hearing and seeing. In other words, upon encountering any message from the external world, in order to activate that state of emptiness of being, we focus on the hearing and the seeing. Not hearing what, not seeing what, just focusing on the hearing and the seeing. Become aware of the already always hearing and the always already seeing. And if you can maintain that state of awareness of the already always hearing and the already always seeing, you're not focusing on the content of the message. You're just focusing on the hearing and the seeing. It is like riding that raft. And the longer we can ride that raft, the more we can activate this state of emptiness of being. And the longer we ride the raft, the longer we experience the state of emptiness of being, the more we would actually feel serenity, tranquility, and inner peace. Because the alternative is that if we don't focus on the hearing and the seeing, if we don't stay on the raft, then we would fall off into the river. And the river of what? The river of the mind and the emotion. The mind and the emotion, there is positive and negative polarity. It is always positive, it is always negative. Whereas the core of our being, our spirit, is always balanced. Okay? It is a fact that because our true hearing, our true seeing is only the hearing and the seeing, there's no content yet, it is always balanced. It is a fact that as human beings, we are naturally, innately balanced deep within. We recognize that we are naturally balanced. It is only when we let our mind and emotion take over that we go out of balance. We go positive and we go negative. It is like the wave of the river. And sometimes the wave can be really big. It can drown us, right? Sometimes we can feel like we are drowning in the waves of the emotion and the mind. But all we gotta do is hop back on to the raft of seeing, the raft of hearing, and we would reactivate that emptiness of being, and then we will eventually get to serenity and inner peace. Okay? So let me ask you guys, have any of you actually experienced this state? Any of you actually experienced the state of emptiness of being?
I think with me, it's just approximately, it's just nearly. Yeah. So after graduates, master nội trú a boarding school master. Yeah. I think that's what I contribute for the converts, like the list of logistic team hậu cần. Sorry if my pronunciation a little bit like makes you feel confused. Yeah. Yeah. When the good karma it contribute it gain enough. I feel my inner words it's just not generate a lot of thought in my mind. Yeah, it's the stay like a river, just flow and don't have any movement. Yeah, it's very special. The state of mind. It makes me feel so peaceful. Yeah. The stay when the talks do not run like a lot in my mind. Yeah, it's so peaceful. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for the Victoria for sharing that. Yeah, it is said that as human being, in the previous episode we studied about the energy of good blessings and balanced merit. If you have acquired enough energy of good and good blessings and balanced merit by helping other people, that's what Victoria has done. She is in her mastery class, in the boarding school mastery class. She has taken a lot of upon herself to create a lot of value for the other people, thereby earning a credit, her spiritual credit in the good balance merit. And as a consequence, sometimes you can experience that state of emptiness of being. It is a state of awareness that is very rewarding for those who have earned it by helping other people get to level 3, wisdom and awareness. Okay. In the past week, we talked about the golden rule. Remember the golden rule? If you want something for yourself, you do it for other people. If you want to have this awareness, you help other people reach this awareness. That's it. It's that simple. Yeah. So thank you for sharing, Jiguanan. Thank you, Victoria. So emptiness of being. Okay. The benefit of that is serenity, tranquility, and inner peace. Right? That is the kind of things that people have been searching for God knows how long. People have been looking for peace within themselves, and they have not been able to find it. And it is here that we are presenting a method of finding that inner peace, of finding that state of serenity. And all you got to do, and it's so simple, all you got to do is just focus on the hearing and the seeing. Become aware of the will to hear, the will to see, the will to know, the will to talk. Okay? And this is the state of awareness of level 3. This is the truth that will set us free. So in the Christian Bible, there is a saying that you will know the truth and the truth will set us free. You will know the truth and the truth will set you free. In applying this perspective to that statement, you will know the truth, which is the true hearing, true seeing, true talking, and true knowing. We call it the truth because the truth is something that does not change over space and time. And as a human being, whereas everything else change, our mind change, our emotion change, our body change, the external circumstances change, but there is a part of us that does not change over space and time. The will to hear, the will to see, the will to talk, and the will to know never change. What we hear, what we see, change. But the will to hear, the will to see never change. And by becoming aware of that truth, we will be set free. Free from what? Free from the mind, free from the emotion, free to choose the next course of action, free to choose the next thought, free to even choose the kind of emotion that we want. Whereas previously, as soon as we receive an external message, we immediately analyze good, bad, should or should not. We are trapped by our mind, are we not? Have we ever really taken control of our mind? But with this awareness, we give ourselves a space of emptiness. The longer we have that space of emptiness, the longer we are going to likely feel tranquility and inner peace, serenity. And then when and if we analyze and differentiate, we can choose how to think. We can choose how to be emote, how to feel. And from the mind and the emotion, we can choose how to behave, and we can choose how to create our own reality. Okay? And there is also another benefit of the emptiness of being, is that we will have the power of discernment. Okay? The power of discernment is the power to be able to make good decision, to choose the good thought, to feel the right emotion. If we don't have this awareness of emptiness of being, we immediately jump into analyzing and feeling. And usually our analysis and our emotional response will correspond to the nature that we perceive from the external message. If it is if we perceive it as a negative message, we will think negatively. If we perceive it as a negative message, we will feel negatively. And so we are controlled by external circumstances. However, if we allow for this emptiness of being, this state of hearing, true hearing and true seeing, when there's no content just yet, okay? We allow for that space. Then when we do choose to think, when we do choose to respond, we will have the power of discernment, choosing the positive over the negative, choosing to think positively instead of negatively. And this is level 3 awareness. We already went through level 1 and level 2 awareness and wisdom. if we allow for the emptiness of being, this space of emptiness between the initial reception and before the analysis and differentiation, then we can choose to initiate different levels of wisdom. If we need to, we can go down to level 2, awareness and wisdom. Awareness and wisdom, yeah. If for example, a message comes in and somebody says something that we find to be offensive. Previously, before we have this state of awareness, we immediately feel offended, or we immediately analyze that as an offensive word. Maybe what are they trying to do? Why are they trying to hurt me? Do they respect me? Do they disrespect me? We are immediately drowned by the waves of the mind and the emotion. And so we have no control over the content of our mind, and we have no control over the external reality. But if we have this space of emptiness, we give it amount of time, then we can choose level 2 awareness. Root cause of life begin with me. Root cause of life begin with me, so I don't need to blame other people. And root cause of life begin with me, I don't blame myself either. Because at the moment of my choosing, whatever choice that I've made that give me the outcome right now, I've made the best choice possible given what I know. That is the formula for the root cause of life. Root cause of life begin with me, but I don't blame other people or myself. And you can raise the awareness of level 2 to wisdom level 2, where we initiate tolerance and magnanimity. If we need to forgive them, we forgive them. If we need to be tolerant, we be tolerant. We open our spirit big enough so that we can behold other people and hold other people in our space without having to blame them. And at that moment, what we do is we have protected ourselves from negativity, and we have protected other people from our negativity. Or if we need it, we can go down to level 1, awareness and wisdom. Okay, so this is right and wrong, good and bad. Instead of feeling bad, if we feel bad, then by the law of causality, the other person caused us to feel bad, right? They cause us to go negative. They have earned negativity in their fortune account. Their karma, their total causal outcome is going to be bad. Their life is going to get worse. So if, let's say, we feel bad when our spouse or our children do something, then we're actually hurting them. Their life is going to go down when we feel bad. But we already have level 1 wisdom. We choose a positive emotion. So instead of feeling bad, we can emote positively. We can choose a positive emotion. Try choosing the positive emotion of honoring gratitude. Just be honored by the fact that we are alive enough to feel bad. Be grateful for the lesson if whatever we encounter is something that is desirable. Be grateful for the lesson, honor the present moment. That is the benefit of awareness level 3, of giving yourself the space and the time to feel that emptiness so that the next thought, the next emotion, the next course of action can be positive and beneficial. Okay? Do you guys get that? And so, with that in mind, what I have just done is shared with you the formula for overcoming all of life's problems. Okay? There is a formula. So let me write that down for you. We have just talked about the formula. Yeah, formula for rising above all problems. Okay, and I just summarize it with you. Step 1, very simple. Step 1, initiate emptiness of being. Simply by know that we're hearing, know that we're seeing, and then welcomely receive it. Okay, so when we encounter any message from the external world, good or bad, doesn't matter. Before we judge it as good or bad, just know it and welcomely receive it. Okay, welcome, there's no D, welcomely receive it. Okay, welcomely receive it. And what does that do? Well, what that does is give us the benefit of serenity. Okay, we just know it, know the hearing and know the seeing, become aware of the already always hearing, become aware of the already hearing and seeing. We just receive whatever comes. There's no judgment yet. There's no analytical thinking, no emotion yet. And if we can extend that space, we get the benefit of serenity and inner peace. Okay? If after that, if we choose to, after inner peace, after the emptiness ends, we can choose. If we're encountering somebody, a person that has said something or done something that causes us pain, then we initiate level 2 awareness. Root cause from me. Right? Root cause of life begins with me. Root cause from me. Okay, of course, you don't know blaming others or myself either. No blaming others, not others, because the root cause of life begins with me. No blaming myself, because at the moment of making the decision or the choice, I made the best possible choice for myself anyway. It is only after the fact that we look back and we judge that to be right or wrong, good or bad, but it is after the fact. The moment of our choosing, remember the formula for the root cause of life, the moment of our choosing, we always choose the best for ourselves. Okay, and if you can initiate level 2 awareness, then what you have essentially done is you have activated the energy of magnanimity with other people. Magnanimity, okay, which include tolerance and unconditional love or eternal love, okay, is your spirit magnanimous, a state of being magnanimous. Magna means great, animus means spirit. A state of having such a great big spirit that we can hold anyone in our space and behold anyone with our seeing. Okay, and if needed, we can always initiate level 1 awareness and wisdom. Okay, instead of focusing on the negative, we draw the lesson, find the impression, which is what's applicable in life, and see if we can come to any realization. And if we actually do that, if we actually can find the lesson, impression, and realization in any situation, then we have essentially initiated the energy of honoring gratitude. Do you remember this? We talked about honoring gratitude last week. Okay, honor the lesson. Be grateful for the chance to grow in maturity. From adversity comes maturity and growth, and we honor the lesson and be grateful for the opportunity to grow. Don't be grateful for the problem. Don't be grateful for the bad people who did bad things to you. But we honor the lesson and we be grateful for the opportunity to grow and mature. And that is the formula for rising all of life's problems, for rising above all of life's problems. And you can only do that when you have initiated level 3 awareness and wisdom. Okay, before we have the level 3 awareness, we are stuck in the mind and the emotion. That wave always want to drown us out. But here we have the raft of hearing and seeing. We climb on the raft, we wait it out, let everything balance out. And then when we have achieved a degree of serenity and tranquility, we can pick and choose which level of awareness and wisdom we need to. And here's another thing about discernment, okay, the power of discernment. This state of emptiness of being is like a lake. Imagine we are standing in the middle of a lake that is perfectly still. Okay, no wave, no, no ups and downs. The lake is perfectly still, and we're standing in the middle of it. Even if a single leaf were to drop onto the lake, you think we can sense the wave? Yeah, we can sense the wave, right? But if we're standing in the middle of the lake and the lake has got a bunch of wave on it, or it's full of storm and hurricane, the storm of our mind, the hurricanes of our emotion, then we're not able to sense anything. All we can sense is the wave and the storm. But if we can initiate emptiness of being, it is the same as being in a lake that is perfectly still. And because the lake is perfectly still, any tiny amount of movement will send a wave, a ripple of wave, and we can sense that wave. And you can apply this in your interaction with other people. What is it like if we are encountering, if we are a boss in a company and we are interacting with our employee and we have stillness of being? Can we sense the mind and the emotion of the other person, of our employee? Yeah, we can sense it. What would it be like if we are a parent and we maintain a state of emptiness of being? Our lake is perfectly still when we're interacting with our children. Can we sense the subtle fluctuation of the mind and the emotion of other people, of our children? We can sense it. What would it be like if when interacting with our spouse and we can maintain a degree of emptiness of being, of stillness in our lake, then we can sense the subtle changes in the mind and the emotion of our spouse. And that is the power of awareness level 3, of emptiness of being. Okay, do you guys get that? When we are listening to, let's say, a sales pitch, okay, we go somewhere and somebody want to sell us something. Before we have the state of awareness of emptiness of being, it is our desire and our emotion that is the focus of human nature, right? Remember, desire and imagination is the focus of human nature. Before we are aware, we will go to, some place and a salesperson could use our desire and our imagination. They can stimulate our desire and imagination and lead us and manipulate us into buying something. Has anybody here ever buy something because the sales pitch was so attractive that we spend money and we buy it, and then we go home and we regret it, right? We regret it. Yeah, because our desire and imagination is very positive at that time, or negative, whatever. It is so strong that we are not able to sense what's right or what's wrong, what's good for us, what's not. And so we'll make the decision based on our emotion. And so later on, we regret it. But if next time we go and we meet a salesperson or at a business meeting, a deal being made or a negotiation, a negotiation for a big business deal, for instance, and we maintain a state of emptiness of being, we only know we're hearing, we only know we're seeing, we allow that state of emptiness, that perfect stillness in our being, then we can catch on to what the other person is saying. We can, when we need to, we can initiate the right level of awareness and wisdom, and we can make better and more sound decision. Yeah, that is the power of emptiness of being. Okay. Next time we turn on the YouTube and we're listening to some YouTube influencer. Okay. Before now, we let the YouTube influencer influence us. That's why they are called influencer. They influence people. Or the next time we turn on a TV program, we watch a movie. Okay, we see the character that sometimes they're in love, sometimes they're angry, they're doing all kinds of things, and we are drawn by it, and they affect us. If you recall, last week we talked about the garden of our subconscious, the operating principle of the subconscious. Right? In the garden of our subconscious, there are the seed of cognition, there are seed of affinity, and seed that has already bore fruit and turned into a fruit. Each of those seed are cultivated by our hearing and seeing. Okay, hearing and seeing, not the true hearing and seeing, it is the hearing and seeing in the human nature. So when we hear something and we see something, and we let our desire, imagination, if we let our human nature take on a positive or negative direction, we are essentially cultivating that seed of cognition. That seed takes on a positive or negative direction, and it grows into a tree. It'll bear fruit. The fruit could be positive or negative, especially negative. When we think about our past, we usually think about negative things. When we think about future, we usually worry. That is us cultivating our seed of cognition, negatively or positively. And so if we cultivate a seed negatively by thinking of it on a negative level, then guess what? It's going to bear fruit. It's going to be the outcome, the fruit is going to be negative. Our experience of life is going to be negative. In fact, our experience of life at this moment is the fruit. Okay, from a causality perspective, every seed will bear the same fruit of that, bear the fruit of that same seed. So if our experience of life at this moment is negative, that is a negative fruit. That negative fruit had to have come from some negative seed we have planted and cultivated. Usually we plant it and cultivate it without awareness of the emptiness of being. We let our mind and our emotion think about some message from the external world. And when we think about negative or positively, we charge that seed with a negative or positive charge. If it is a negative charge, then eventually that seed has bore fruit, and now we are experiencing the negative outcome of that seed. Do you guys get that part? The operating principle of the subconscious mind. We have been cultivating many seeds of cognition, many seeds of affinity or condition with other people. And so today we are experiencing the kind of life that we have today because we have been cultivating it positively or negatively. But if we can initiate the emptiness, the state of emptiness of being upon hearing any or seeing any message, what we essentially do is stop the causality. We can actually stop causality. Because causality only happens when you are negative or positive. If you're negative, you plant negative seed, it's going to grow up to be a negative fruit. If you plant positive seed, it's going to grow up to be positive fruit. But upon encountering a message, we are planting a seed. And if we are not thinking and feeling about it, we're not charging it with positive or negative, then that seed is barren. It will not grow into anything. And so we essentially stop the engine, the causality. And that is what the formula for rising above all problem is. Okay, whenever we encounter a circumstance or a situation that is negative, that is the outcome, that is the fruit that is negative, we can stop causality by initiating step one. Just know that we're hearing it and we're seeing it. We welcomely receive it, and then we experience serenity. We don't generate more positive or negativity. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah, okay. So yeah, when we are able to initiate the awareness of emptiness of being, we actually have the power of discernment. And we essentially take ownership of our life. Okay? Because to take ownership of something is to be responsible and accountable for that. The word responsible or responsibility can be written as ability to respond. Responsibility. A person who is responsible is a person who has the ability to respond. Okay? Whereas previously, before we recognize the truth within us, we simply react. Okay, it is an automatic process. We just react. We can't control it. But now, when we have this state of emptiness, when we are aware of the truth within us, when we can respond, it is our ability to respond that makes us a person of responsibility, responsibility of a responsible person. And that is what it means to be a master of our own life. Okay, to take ownership of our life, beginning with our spirit, our mind, and our emotion. Okay. So if you can take ownership of level 3 awareness, you already have level 2, level 1 awareness and wisdom. We are essentially able to rotate among different levels of awareness when appropriate, so that we can take full and complete responsibility and ownership of our own life. This is wisdom. Okay, this is wisdom. So you can write with me. Okay, the definition of wisdom of level 3. A person of wisdom level 3. A person of wisdom level 3 is a person with the inner awareness such that people, things, event, phenomena, and circumstances has the essence of emptiness. Okay? Do I want to write that for you guys? Let's write that for you guys. Let's see if I can write that for you as well. Okay? A person of wisdom level 3 is one with the inner awareness such that people, things, event, phenomena, circumstances have the, make this a little bit bigger, essence of emptiness. Okay, essence of emptiness. A person of level 3 wisdom is one with the inner awareness such that people, things, event, phenomena, circumstances have the essence of emptiness. Okay? Person of level 3 wisdom is one with the inner awareness such that, let me write the U a little easier to see, more clearly to see, such that people, things, event, phenomena, circumstances have the essence of emptiness. Okay, do you remember the interaction from root cause formula? Remember, what is this? If I hold this up and I ask you, what is this? Do you remember that interaction? We say, okay, this is a pen. And if a dog were to perceive this, what does the dog see? The dog might think it is a bone or a toy. Right? And so we go through and say, okay, I think this is a pen. The dog thinks this is a toy. When I leave the room, when the dog leaves the room, what is this? And we agree that this is nothing. It is nothing, not because it doesn't exist. It exists. It is nothing because we are not there to perceive it. There is nobody there to perceive it. Therefore, it is nothing. Right? If I'm not here to perceive it, if the dog is not here to perceive it, then this is essentially nothing. And so we come up with the conclusion that the essence of all things is emptiness. The essence of things is essentially emptiness, or all things are essentially empty, or that all thing has the essence of emptiness. Okay, it is empty because there is no perceiver there to perceive it. It is empty. Okay, now, of course, that is just a philosophical perception with respect to the essence of emptiness. Now, if we say that this is a pen, and then we say that this is nothing, and we say that this is a pen, and then we say this is nothing, we say this is a pen, but it is nothing, then after a while, what had just happened? What just happened? This is a pen. No, it's nothing. This is a pen. It is nothing. It is a pen. It is nothing. After a while, what we have just done is we have just collapsed. And we have just given this pen a new name called nothing. We have just given meaning to the pen. It is no longer empty. Did you guys get that? If we keep on saying that this is nothing, this is nothing, this is nothing, then we have just given it a meaning of, we could call it a name of nothing. Instead of being called a pen, instead of being called a toy or bone, it has a new name called nothing. But that is not what this is about. What this is about is that a person of true awareness level 3 will first know that the true hearing and true seeing comes first. Remember, the true hearing and the true seeing comes first. The already always hearing, the already always seeing comes first. And when we first hear and see, it is only the hearing and seeing. There's no analytical thinking just yet. And so this is nothing. As long as we maintain that emptiness of being. Okay? As long as we maintain that emptiness of being, as long as we maintain that the true hearing and true seeing comes first, then this pen will be essentially nothing. It is empty of meaning. Okay? In other words, when we activate the already always hearing and the already always seeing first, then this has not taken on any meaning yet. It is during that space of emptiness that this has no meaning. And because this has no meaning, because all things, event, phenomenon, circumstance, have the essence of emptiness, it has unlimited potential. It has unlimited potential. And because it's had unlimited potential, it can become anything. Okay? It is essentially nothing, or it is essentially empty of meaning. It has unlimited potential. And because it has unlimited potential, then it can become anything. Okay, so if you remember, you can write down that all things have the essence of emptiness. Okay? It does not necessarily mean that the inner being is empty. Okay? All things have the essence of emptiness does not necessarily mean the inner being is emptiness. But if the inner being is empty, then all things have the essence of emptiness. Okay? All things have the essence of emptiness does not necessarily mean the inner being is emptiness. But if the inner being is emptiness, then all things have the essence of emptiness. It begins with us. Okay? Whether this thing is something or nothing, it doesn't come from itself. It comes from our own perception. If we are empty, then this is empty. But just because we call this empty doesn't necessarily mean we are empty. Okay? So the person of wisdom level 3 is a person with the awareness such that all people, things, event, phenomena, circumstances all have the essence of emptiness. So if we apply wisdom level 3 to people, then right at this moment, your children is no one. Right at this moment, your spouse is no one. Right at this moment, why are they no one? Because we perceive them as no one. If we have emptiness of being, we are only focusing on the hearing and seeing. There's no content just yet. Then our children are no one. Our spouse are no one. If a boss initiate level 3 wisdom, then upon interacting with their employee are no one. They are no one because we perceive them as no one. Okay, and because they are no one, they also have the potential, they have unlimited potential, and therefore they can become anyone. Right? If we look at our children and we immediately perceive our children as being bad kids or playing too much video game, then we cannot be anyone else. They cannot be anything else. Too late. But if we look at our children and we first initiate level 3 wisdom, and we become aware that people, things, event, phenomena, circumstances are essentially empty, then they are no one. And we give ourselves a little bit of space to feel that emptiness. Then when we want them to be anything, we can initiate a possibility. We can lower ourselves to level 2 wisdom. Whereas level 2 awareness is root cause of life begin with me. Level 2 wisdom is about creating a new mental image. We can create a new possibility for the other person. So instead of a kid who plays too much game, this kid could be a genius. If they spend too much time playing video game, then instead of being negative, then this kid could be a talent asset who has perseverance and focus if they spend all that much time. If the kid don't listen to you, and if you first see them as a somebody who's stubborn and won't listen, that's already a negative state. That is already an undesirable outcome in life. At that moment, your experience of life is already negative. When we perceive our children as undesirable, as don't listen, being too stubborn. But if we can initiate level 3 wisdom, that people have the essence of emptiness, give it a little bit of time, a gap, feel that emptiness, get to a state of serenity, then you can create a new possibility. Invent something new, invent something positive. Instead of being stubborn and don't listen, you invent the possibility that this child is going to persevere in whatever endeavor that they want. Yeah? Okay? All things have the essence of emptiness, therefore has unlimited potential. We are no one, so we can become anyone. If we are already someone, then we cannot become anyone anymore. Okay, all things have the essence of emptiness, therefore has unlimited potential. We are no one, so we can become anyone. If we are already someone, then we cannot become anyone else anymore. Okay, thus is the power of the level 3 awareness and wisdom. We can create a new possibility for ourselves and for other people. Okay? And with that, we come to a law, a natural law, that governs all of our lives, especially when it comes to human life and experience. It is called the law, and I want you guys to write this down if you can, of cyclic rotation. See, Mother Nature is really wonderful. Mother Nature has a way of maintaining balance over the entire universe. Everything is always rotating. Everything is always changing. Everything that is moving forward and rotating and cycling. Day give way to night, night give way to day. Planets are formed, planets are destroyed. Everything is constantly changing. Okay? Applying this law of cyclic rotation to human life experience, what we get is to be and not to be. Okay, to be and not to be. To be is move forward. All right, to become something, to be somebody, move forward. Not to be is to remain who you are. Okay, to be is to fixate on some desire, a destination. Not to be is to release and become no one. Okay, so when we apply this to human life and experience, we will notice that in order to become anybody, we have to initiate desire in imagination. Okay, it is human nature. The focus of human nature is desire and in imagination. To become or to be anyone, we have to initiate some desire and imagination that enable us to move forward, to become, to fixate on a goal. Okay, but you will also notice that when our desire and imagination is not satisfied, we suffer. That's essentially what suffering is. At any moment in time, at this moment, if we experience an undesirable circumstances, that is because our desire is not met. Pain and suffering is nothing more than experience something that is undesirable. And we can only experience pain and suffering when we have desire. Right? You can't have pain and suffering if you don't desire. Desire and imagination about something, about becoming somebody or to have something is the cause of suffering. But if we understand the law of cyclic rotation, that nothing stays the same. There has to be a balance. And now that we have wisdom and awareness level 3, we can become no one. We can let go. We can remain where we are. Right? The way it works is like this. Let's say we fixate on becoming somebody. Let's say we fixate on becoming, or being a mother. Okay? We fixate on being a mother. And so we do everything to move forward to become a mother. But after a while, we get attached to motherhood. We get attached to being a mother. And so when, something, let's say when we interact with our husband, and our husband, instead of treating us like a wife, or instead of treating us like children, instead of us treating our husband like a husband, we forget that we are, we think that we're still a mother. We would treat our husband just like we treat our children. And so We get mixed up. Or how about this? A boss, okay? A boss who is fixated on being a boss, tell people what to do, right? And when he goes home, he forget that he's no longer at work and he still want to tell people what to do, tell his wife what to do, tell his children what to do. And so the way they respond is going to be incompatible with his way of being a boss, and therefore he's going to experience pain and suffering. And so with the power of the awareness of level 3, we learn to be no one. We learn to become no one, to let go when appropriate. So when we're at the work, we are being somebody, we are a boss. But when we go home, we immediately let go. We are not to be, we are not the boss anymore. And then we can refixate or reattach ourselves to a different identity. We are now a husband. And so when we are interacting with our husband, we are moving forward, right? We are becoming or be the wife. But when our husband goes to work and we are encountering our children, we rotate back to not to be. We just release. And now we are switching. We move forward to becoming a mother. Okay? So the law of cyclic rotation basically say that in order to maintain balance, you have to rotate when appropriate. So as human being, now we have level 3 wisdom, we learn to release when appropriate. We learn to move forward when appropriate. And it helps to get on that raft of hearing and seeing. Women tend to make the mistake of when they become a mother, right? They tend to fixate on being mother. At first, when they first get married, they are very romantic with the husband. They do everything to attract the husband, to be a wife, to be a woman. But when they get the children, they fixate on their children. Their children become number one in their life, and that's fine. But after a while, the husband wonder, oh, what happened to my wife? The husband still wants the wife, but the wife has now become the mother. There's no more wife in the house. And so we have a problem. But a woman of level 3 wisdom and awareness knows when to let go of being a mother and move forward to rotate to becoming a wife. And then when the husband goes to work, the mother has to take care of her children. She goes back to being a mother. Right? So it takes a little bit of wisdom and awareness to be able to rotate to different role, to being able to let go, to not to be, and then be, not to be, and then to be, not to be, and then to be. Switch wisely when appropriate. And a person's life can be very balanced when we know how to switch roles like that. Okay. Yeah, when we take on a role, we fixate on that role. We also create value related to that role. Great. If we're a father, we are creating value as a father. But when we are a father, we are creating value as a father. We can't create value as a husband. So we have to let go of being a father and then be a husband. Anybody saw the movie The Sound of Music? The Sound of Music? There is a military man. It's a military man who's very strict and disciplined, and he basically treat all of his children like the military. Yeah, the children have to line up and they have to be disciplined like a military, and it's really funny. It's it's a satire and meant to show that what happened when a person is unable to detach, to release from his role as a military man and become just a father. All right, so law of cyclic rotation, once you recognize it, can be very powerful. Okay? Also helps for a person to be able to take on multiple roles and multiple jobs, for instance. If a person, let's say a homemaker, a wife who only knows how to to do house chores, and she's never had a job before. Usually, being fixated on being just a homemaker or housewife, oftentimes a woman will take on a sort of a negative state with respect to her own role. She thinks that, oh, she cannot create value outside of the home. But if she are able to release her role as a housemaker and take on a job if she wants to, whenever she wants to, if she can loosen up that attachment or that the entanglement with her identity by initiating level 3 awareness, I am no one, I can become anyone. But if I don't have level 3 awareness or and wisdom, then I'm only a housewife. Then I can only do housework. I cannot not create any job. I cannot go and get a job. I cannot do any business. But a housewife who can initiate level 3 wisdom, I am no one, I can become anyone. Then a housewife can also be an inner being specialist, can be a coach, can also be a businesswoman. Okay, and vice versa. So any one of us at any moment in time, when we initiate level 3 wisdom, it is the awareness such that people and things and event phenomena circumstances have the essence of emptiness, including ourselves. Okay, we are no one. Because we are no one, we have the potential to become anyone. And if we have the potential to become anyone, then we can create the possibility for ourselves. Okay. Next. Okay. Yeah, so wisdom is the ability to rotate. Okay, rotate to being and not to be. Okay. Oh yeah, if a person fixate on not to be a lot, okay, most of us, we tend to be fixated on being somebody, our sense of identity. That makes us suffer when we cannot negotiate that identity, when other people expect different things, or when we do not satisfy the desire that is attached to that identity. We have pain and suffering. And so here we learn how to detach, we learn how to release and become nobody. But it's possible for a person to be fixated on being no one. What happened to a person who fixates on not to be? I'm no one all the time. Then they don't do anything. They don't create any value. They don't move anywhere. They don't move forward. They stay in one place. And what happens if you create no value? We have to understand that from the law of causality, right? From a spiritual and religious perspective, at every moment of every, of our day in our life, we are using up our good fortune. Each of us is born with a fortune account of good deed, bad deed, and balanced merit. Every day of our life, every moment, we are using up the good fortune. If we're eating, that is because we are fortunate enough to have food. If we're breathing, we are fortunate enough to have air. If we have family, a job, then we are fortunate enough to have those positive things. If we keep using up our account and we don't replenish that account by creating value for other people, guess what's going to happen to that account? Our fortune is start going to be depleted. So a person who fixates on not to be will do nothing, create no value. They will just expend the fortune, and after a while, the quality of life will go down. In the garden of the subconscious, there are the seed, right? There's a seed of knowledge and a seed of affinity, good seed and bad seed. If we don't create more good seed, then after a while, we're going to be reaping a bunch of bad seed. If we don't create value, we will not earn any good fortune, and so our life is going to go bad at some point, right? Yeah. Think of little children who inherit great fortune from the parent, okay, from a material wealth and perspective, they inherit a great amount of wealth. And if they are no one, they fixate on being no one, they don't create any value, they don't have any desire for generating any kind of value, they don't do anything with the money they have, they just expend it, expend it, expend it, and after a while, their fortune will go away. Okay? It's the same for everybody. If we fixate on being no one, not to be, we create no value. If we create no value, our life will eventually go down in terms of quality. That is the golden rule. Okay. Okay. So next, let's have you write. Okay. Next, let's have you write. A person of wisdom is a person who always senses that people, things, event, phenomenon has no problem. There is a person who always senses that people, things, event, phenomena has no problem. Okay, a person of wisdom is a person who senses that people, things, event, phenomena has no problem. Okay? Well, why? Because of the awareness and wisdom level 3. If we're just focusing on the hearing and the seeing, then we're not focusing on any content. We're not actually focusing on the right and wrong of other people. Okay, right or wrong, that's awareness level 1. That awareness level 1, right or wrong, good or bad. But a person of level 3 does not have the awareness that other people are good and bad, right or wrong. And because they are essentially empty, they have no problem. You get that? Because they are essentially empty, they have no problem. If a person have any issue, let's say they have an issue in terms of their health, then it is only because they have not yet had a beneficial source concept about health. They have not had an awareness of health. Remember our definition of awareness? To have an awareness of something is to have beneficial source concept, to have positive mental images, and to have an energy vibration that is equivalent so that you will have the reality of it. To have an awareness is to have a reality of it. To have a full and complete awareness is to have an enduring reality of something. So when you see a person and they have an issue with their health, it's not a problem. They just have not had a source concept of health. They have not had a positive mental images about health. And they simply have not had a fullness of awareness about health. They don't have a problem. When you encounter a person who have an issue with the finance, that is not a problem. When we have an issue with our finance, we don't have a problem. We simply have not had a beneficial source concept about finance. We have not had a positive mental images about finance, and we are not vibrationally matched for having finance. You gotta get that part? A person of level 3 wisdom is a person who always senses that people, things, event, phenomena has no problem. So from now on, there is no problem in life. If there's a challenge or any issue that need to be dealt with simply because we just need beneficial source concept, we just need positive mental images, and we need vibrational energy frequency that is a match with that reality that we want. And we already learned that in order to acquire the kind of positive energy that is equivalent to better things in life, then we just need to apply the golden rule, help people, and then thereby helping ourselves. And so with this definition, a person who always senses that people, things, event, phenomena has no problem, then a person who is suffering or a suffering person has no problem. They just need the source concept of serenity and inner peace. Okay? And when we encounter a person who's resentful and blaming, they have no problem. They just need the source concept of honoring gratitude. because honoring gratitude will erase resentment and blame, just as serenity and inner peace will erase pain and suffering. When we encounter a person who is angry, they have no problem. They just need the source concept of magnanimity and tolerance. And so we just give them a beneficial source concept of magnanimity and tolerance, give them a positive mental images of what it looked like to be a magnanimous and tolerant person, and help them reach a state of vibrational energy frequency that is matched for a reality of a person of magnanimity and tolerance. There is no problem. Okay? Because a person of level 3 awareness and wisdom only know that we are hearing and seeing, so that we don't see a problem. Okay? Okay. Yeah, okay. There is there's a story. Okay. Let's not tell a story. Let me just give you the last definition. Anybody have an impression so far about any of this? Any question or impression so far? No? Okay. We'll move on to the last definition and we can go back. Okay. The last definition of a person of level 3 wisdom is a person who always live with the present. Okay, it's a person who always live in the present. Is one who always live with the truth within them. Okay, it's one who always live with the truth within them. Is one who always know they are hearing, know they are seeing, know they are talking, and know that they are knowing. Is a person who has a state of peace, joy, and serenity in their inner being. Okay, that is the last definition of the person of level 3 wisdom. It's a person who always live with the present moment. It's one who always live with the truth within them. It's one who always know they are hearing, know that they are seeing, know that they are talking, and know that they are knowing. And is a person who has the state of peace, joy, and serenity in their inner being. Okay, so the first one is the idea of living in the present moment. Okay, the present. Or the now. It's one of my favorite author, Eckhart Tolle, say it, the now. Okay, the now. The present. Do we notice that we are rarely ever present? Right? Do we notice that we are always rarely ever be in the present? We are always thinking about the past. That is imagining things that we associate with having experienced before. We are always imagining the future, which is a projection of something, that we associate as not experiencing yet. But whether we are imagining the past, remembering, or imagining the future, projecting, usually it has a negative, energy polarity to it. Usually when we think about the past, we regret something. When we think about the future, we're anxious about tomorrow. And so in this present moment, when we're imagining the past or imagining the future, we are actually experiencing a negative present. Our present is actually undesirable. If we have a negative imagination of our past or negative imagination about the future, then our present is actually already undesirable. Right? And that is because we have been planting, negative seed in our subconscious mind with respect to the past and with respect to our understanding or imagination of the future. So in order to escape that, or in order to protect ourselves from that, we asked we asked the following question, okay? Wise sages, people who have already experienced the state of serenity and inner peace, people who truly live in the present, give us 3 important questions of life. Okay, 3 important questions of life. 1, who is the most important person of my life? Okay, 1, who is the most important person of my life? 2, when is the most important time of my life? And 3, what is the most important task that I need of my life? Okay, who, when, and what task? What do I need to do, basically? And the answer to that question that corresponds to a person of level 3 wisdom, one who has emptiness of being, one who experiences serenity and inner peace, is number 1, who is the most important person of my life? It is the person in front of me. Okay, the person in front of me is the most important person of my life. Why? Because if I say my father is the most important person, then we may get in trouble with mom. Okay? If we say my children is the most important person of my life, then we may get in trouble with my husband. Right? Not very smart, but also not being here in the present. Who is the most important person of my life is the person in front of me. Why? Because our life really only have this moment, this present moment. The past is just an imagination. We may think that we are thinking about the past, but it is nothing more than a figment of our imagination that we associate with something having, experienced before. The future hasn't happened yet. That too is just our imagination. So really the past and the future does not exist. It is only this moment that exists, the present moment. And if we're thinking about another person who is not here, then we're actually thinking about the past, our remembering of them, or we're projecting some future about them. They are part of our imagination. They don't exist. The only person who really, truly exists is the person in front of us right now. See if you can come to that awareness. If we are thinking about anybody else, okay, let's say right now you and I, Ron, and Chị Nguyễn, Thị Minh Hồng, we are the people who are in the Zoom right now. We are the only people that exist for each other. If we, let's say, think about our spouse, okay, we think about our spouse, they may have a certain look to it, they may be wearing something, but really that's just our imagination. In fact, they may have worn something, before yesterday, or maybe we're thinking about what we're gonna say or do with them in the future. All of that is imagination. None of that is real. What's really real, what truly real, is the person in front of us. Yeah. And when that answer the question, the person in front of us at this moment, that's real. That is our reality. Everything else is just imagination. And what is the most important thing to do? Well, since we are here in the present with the person, then the most important thing to do is to care for that person, to honor the moment and be grateful for the presence of that other person. It's that simple. It's that simple. Because if you're thinking about anything else, then you're imagining. You're imagining. And imagination falls in part of our human nature, which is fine. We have human nature, but human nature is already out of balance. Okay, we have the true nature, wisdom and awareness level 3 hones in on that true nature, the state of ultra high vibrational energy and ultra balanced state of being. It is a state that gives us the outcome or the fruit of serenity and inner peace. Okay? Because when we are focused on this present moment and the person in front of us, and the only thing that we need to do is to pay attention and to care for the person in front of us, then we are in a state of balance. We not only can we initiate level 3 awareness and wisdom, but we can also at this moment initiate level 2 awareness and wisdom. We can behold them and then hold them in our space. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We behold them. We invent mental images and we see their potential, right? Because the essence of all things and people are empty. They are no one, and therefore they have unlimited potential. And so we can see them, we can behold them as someone, positive and great. We can literally create a possibility. We can literally create a new reality for us and that person in front of us right now. Do you guys get that? Yeah, that is pretty much level 3 wisdom and awareness. Okay, it is called mindfulness, being in the here and now. If you guys have a time, read the book, The Power of Now. I really, really, really recommend it. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Okay, The Power of Now. Let's
Frank,
turn it over to you guys. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, like who is the most important person in front of you? Is a person, yeah, that's the important person, is the one in front of you. But what if you're alone?
And guess what?
Are you the most important person, right?
Why not? Why not?
Yep.
Can we be with ourselves? Can we be with ourselves in a state of emptiness and stillness? Or do we let our mind and emotion goes nuts? If we got nothing better to do, just be at peace. True peace. Empty. Just practice. In fact, I oftentimes, sometimes my life is so busy with so many people that I welcome a moment of alone time. That's a good time that we can practice true emptiness. We can practice that wrath of hearing and seeing. We pay attention to our hearing and our seeing. First, let's say we are walking from our house to our car on the way to work. Okay, that is alone time. Maybe just a few seconds, maybe a few minutes. As we're walking from our house to our car in the garage or something, just pay attention to our being. First, you can pay attention to what's going on outside, what's going on. Okay, I'm walking to the car. Maybe I'm paying attention to the sound of my footstep. Then you may start to notice, okay, I notice I'm talking to myself. Those are content, that's fine. And then you take a step back. And instead of paying attention to the content, the talking, you pay attention to the hearing and the seeing. You pay attention to the observer of the content. You pay attention to the thinker, not the thought. So now we have a new dimension of awareness. We have expanded the range of our awareness. We are paying attention to, we are becoming aware of the thinker of the thought. And see if you can expand that a little bit more. Pay attention to the observer of the thinker of the thought. And as we sort of separate ourselves, this is part about the release and detach. Okay, as we separate and detach from it, we are no longer enslaved by it. We are no longer entangled by the content of our mind. We are no longer weighed down by our emotion. Never again will we ever utter the saying, I can't help out how I feel about you. I can't help being angry. No, we can never say that anymore once we have the level 3 awareness and wisdom. We can never say that, I can't help thinking a certain way. Our emotion and our mind become subject to us, and not we are not subjected to our mind and our emotion. That is a power of discernment that arises out of a state of mindfulness, out of being present, out of being able to ask the question, who is the most important person, when is the most important time, and what is the most important thing to do. So in terms of for yourself, if we are the only person, then the most important task is to be empty, to be at peace. Serenity and inner peace is the fruit. Emptiness is the seed that we sow. Emptiness is the energy, and then the seed we sow is the hearing and the seeing, the breath, right? The picture, right? If we bring this into a causality, then causality equation, then serenity and inner peace is the end result. That is the outcome, the fruit. If we want the fruit of serenity and inner peace and tranquility, then we need to plant the seed of hearing and seeing. Become aware of the hearing, become aware of the seeing. And then as a consequence, as an effect, okay, causality as an effect of paying attention to the hearing and seeing, there will arise the energy of emptiness of being. Okay? That energy will give us the material expression of serenity, tranquility, inner peace, and ultimately joy. We'll talk about joy in subsequent sharing. Okay, let's put it into the reality triangle. Let's see if I can find a reality triangle. I just want to make sure I get it right. I don't want to waste let's see, the reality triangle of inner peace.
We're doing the reality triangle right
yes,
now.
yes, exactly. So this is a good, yes, as a mentor, you are, yep, you definitely, let me make sure I get the reality triangle.
At first, I thought, oh, when I first seen the reality triangle come up, I thought, oh, this is an easy one. All of a sudden, he's adding more and more and more layers to it, and it's getting a little more intense thinking about it. And
Yeah, you want to go back to, just
the
simplifying it.
basic.
Yeah, just simplifying it. The beauty of the reality triangle is that it is fractal. Are you familiar with the concept of fractal? It is a never-ending, infinite loop of reality. You can always generate and create new reality triangle. For example, reality triangle begins with information, the energy, and the material expression, right? And in the information corner of our being, it is the knowing, the believing, and the understanding. And then you can
Yes.
break down you can break down that some more. You can break down that some more. You can break down that some more. So, let me see. Let me see. I can find the reality triangle of serenity. Okay. 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 Good. Awesome. Found it. Okay. Let's do the reality triangle of serenity. Okay. Okay. Serenity. As with all reality triangle, the material, we have the material expression. Okay, just like lead and gold has a material expression that is unique to lead and unique to gold. Anything including non-material object, like happiness and serenity and wisdom, all of that has a material expression. Material expression is something that one can sense, one can feel, one can touch. Okay, it has an energy vibration that correspond to that material expression, and it has an information, which is the basic structure that make up what it is. Just like lead and gold, the energy of lead and gold is a specific energy vibration that gives gold its luster and its shininess, and the energy of lead gives it the dull and the gray looking. Deep inside lead and gold, there is the set of information, the basic makeup, the proton and the electron. The arrangement of proton, of electron, of lead gives it a specific energy, gives it a specific material expression. The arrangement of proton and electron within gold gives it a specific energy and material expression, and we simply call that arrangement information. Same thing with serenity. There is a certain material expression of serenity, there is certain energy frequency of serenity, and there is a information, which is a basic makeup of serenity. Okay. In the materialization or the material expression of serenity, it is no, I'm gonna shorten it to know the hearing. Basically, let's do it again. Let's not make it nice and good. Okay, so one more time. Nice triangle first. Okay. Serenity. Okay, material, write down material. Okay, this is energy and information. As an expression of serenity, okay, as an expression of material expression of serenity, it is when we know we are hearing. Okay, when we know we are hearing. So let me see if I can. I'm gonna just write know the hearing. Okay, know the seeing. Know the talking. Know the knowing. Okay. In other words, we know we are hearing, know we are seeing, know that we are talking, knowing that we are knowing. That is the material expression of serenity. Okay. On an energetic level, the kind of energy frequency that give rise to the knowing, the hearing, knowing, the seeing, knowing, the talking, knowing, the knowing, the kind of energy that give rise to that is defined as when desire and imagination cease. Okay, or stopped, or dropped. Okay, or release. Pick any of those words. When desire and imagination cease, stop, drop, or release. Because imagination and desire fall within the human nature, and human nature, there are, positive and negative polarity, and it is not balanced. It is not the truth just yet. Okay. From an informational aspect, then it is hearing, seeing, talking, and knowing detached from mind and emotion. Okay. The information or the source concept of serenity is hearing, seeing, talking, knowing that is detached from the mind and emotion. It is that circle with the this one. Okay. Message comes in, we just hear, we see, we know, we talk, we basically receive without the mind and the emotion. That's why we use the graph of hearing and seeing, detached from the mind and emotion. Okay. And on an energetic level, when desire and imagination falls within the mind, when desire and imagination cease, we experience emptiness of being. Okay, desire and imagination cease, stop, drop, release, we experience emptiness of being. Okay. And when we know we're hearing, know we're seeing, know the talking, know the knowing, we experience the reality of serenity and tranquility. Okay. Okay, do you guys get that? That's it. That's all I have for serenity. So with that, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to those of you who taken the time to join us in the Zoom. Particularly honored by Ron, who always visit. Okay. Anything interesting today in the Mentor 7, Ron?